This is a video tutorial on how to install and use the G9 SGD software. Insert the U disk that came with the G9. Open U disk. Open Software. Open Windows. And zip the file driver. Open Driver folder. For Windows systems, you have to install this driver file first. It is recommended to right-click and run as administrator for Windows systems. Finish the installation. If the SGD software cannot be opened normally after the installation, please install this application first. And then install the G9 engraving software SGD laser. Install it by default. Finish the installation. Open SGD software. Click on New to create a new canvas. These are the installation procedures for SGD on Windows systems. Then we will demonstrate the installation method of Mac system. Open Untitled. Open Software. Open Mac. Double-click to install SGD. Drag the SGD into the application. The installation is finished. The Mac version does not require a separate driver installation. You can find the SGD software in the Launchpad. These are the installation procedures for SGD on Mac systems. The operation interface is the same as the Windows version. I will demonstrate with the Windows system. After completing the installation, you can switch to the language you want here. Document. New. It is to create a new canvas. You can also create the new canvas here. Click on the sign plus. You can create more new canvases. Save. Save means saving all the engraving materials and their engraving parameters on the current canvas. I will save it to the desktop. And you can find this or ZR file on the desktop. Open. Open means that you can open the file you saved before. This is the one I just saved. Then you can see its engraving information. Engraving parameters. This is Save As. Save As means to save as a new file without changing the original one. View. Ruler. Refers to this ruler scale used to measure. Grid. Refers to this area. Language. Language has been introduced before. Advanced. Because the contents in the advanced section are too much and complicated. We will skip this part for now. Shortcut key. Device information. Accessories. In the accessories section, when you need to use an accessory, turn on the corresponding accessory button for use. Safety door. Normally, the machine stops immediately. Once the protective cover is opened, the machine cannot work without the protective cover closed. Back to this interface, click on the safety door button to turn it off. You'll be able to perform the engraving with the machine's protective cover on. Basic information. You can check the current version of SGD software and the latest version. The current version is 2.05. The latest version is 2.010. Click on Software Updates, click on Download and Install. You can update SGD to the latest version. Then install it by default. Check the current version again. Now it is the latest version 2.010. Show settings. You can change the UI theme here. Change the font size. Restart SGD after the changes are done. We can see that the theme color has changed. The font has gotten smaller too. If you want to change it back, perform the same operation as before and restart. This is the overview of the menu bar. Next, we will introduce you to the toolbar on the left side of the interface. This is the Select tool. This is the Drag tool. Once selected, you can move the canvas. Click on Select tool. The Drag tool can be cancelled. Press and hold the middle mouse button. Also allows you to move the working canvas. Scroll the mouse wheel to zoom in and out. This is text. You can enter the text once it's selected. The font can be changed here. Font size, vertical, down, up, right, left, bold, word spacing, line spacing. Enter the text in the text content box, and then click on the working canvas. Select the text. Turn on Enable Variable Text. Increase. Fix text. You can also change the text content here. Select Fix Text. Delete. Continue to increase. Sequence. You can edit the sequence here. For example, the start number is 001. The current serial number is 001. Confirm. Click on the mark and it will automatically change to the next serial number. Select it. Delete. Increase. Here you can add the date and detailed time. This date and time is based on the current time on your computer. Click on Mark. This font is too big. It exceeds the range of engraving, so you cannot engrave it. Change the font size. This date and time is based on the current time on your computer. There is also an option to move up, move down, and you can also delete it. In the File section, you can import the TXT file edited and Excel tables. This one is the TXT file that I've already edited. Import it here. Click on Confirm. After importing, you can engrave it according to the text content. Excel table allows you to engrave by different columns. Delete this one. Check the first column. After clicking on Mark to start engraving, the G9 will start engraving one by one in sequence from top to bottom. Reimport it. Change field number to 2. You can engrave the second column, column B. Taint. There are points, polyline, bezier, rectangle, circle, ellipse, polygon, pencil. Draw a rectangle. In the graphic attribute, the arc of each corner can be changed. It is also possible to change the arc of a corner separately. Select Circle to draw a circle. Here you can change the values. Angle 45. Select Polygon to draw a polygon. Enter the number of polygon. Pentagon, quadrilateral, triangle, image. Here you can import the images you want to engrave into SGD. It is also possible to drag images directly into SGD. The images can be edited here. There is a magic wand tool. Select an appropriate value. Then you can delete the content of the images you don't need. There is also an eraser tool. Adjust the size. You can also delete the content of images you don't need by erasing them. Select Cropping. Scroll the mouse wheel to shrink the image. Then you can adjust it to the size you need to crop it to. Here you can select the oval. Flip left and right, flip up and down. Various styles are available. Code. There are barcode and QR code. Drag them into the working canvas. Box selection. Filling. Select QR code. Enter the text content here. A corresponding QR code will be generated. Scan the QR code with your cell phone. You'll see the text you entered. There's another way to do with the barcode. It can be used with the Enable variable text. Add the date and time and the serial number. It's a production number. Adjust the size and position. Filling. Box selection. And then click on Mark to start engraving. The gallery. There are a lot of engraving materials in the resource library. These are image materials for G9. The engraving speed of image materials will be slower. If you want faster engraving speed, vector graphics are a better choice. SGD allows you to convert image materials into vector graphics. It is line graphic after successful conversion. Select Filling and Engrave. This is the normal engraving speed of images. Here it is played at 20 times speed. The final total engraving time is 2 minutes and 10 seconds. This is a vector image engraving, playing at normal speed. The total engraving time is 10 seconds. Drag an image material, convert to vector. Start engraving. This is the speed of line engraving. Click Add to import the materials you want to engrave into the resource library. Image format like SVG, BMP, PNG, JPG, JPG, etc. are supported. You can also delete it if you do not need it. In Vector, you can also import the engraving materials, and you can also drag the materials directly into SGD. This is the overview of the toolbar. Then we will introduce the Edit field. The first one is Undo. Suppose I accidentally make a wrong operation and want to restore it quickly. Click the Undo button. Click Recover to restore. Undo. Recover. In Contour, there are inner contour and outer contour. We will demonstrate it for a deep understanding. This is outer contour. This is inner contour. There are rectangular array and circular array. Let's start with a rectangular array. This is horizontal number. This is vertical number. Other defaults remain unchanged. Confirm. This is the final effect. Next, let's take a look at the circular array. Set the number of arrays to 10. Confirm. If you want to close it into a circle, we can calculate the number of arrays. The result is 12. Change the circle radius to 30. This is the final effect. Importing a material. Right-click to convert to vector file. Box selection of vector files. Click and group. The vector file will be divided into many layers. Select the layers you don't need to delete. Box selection of the remaining layers. Click Group. The vector file will be a layer again. Note, only vector graphics can be ungrouped. Click on Text. Box selection. Click on Align Left. Undo. Click on Horizontal Center. Click on Vertical Center. Box selection. Horizontal flip. Vertical flip. Then introduce the merge function. Draw a rectangle first. And draw a circle. Make the two graphics coincide like in the video. Box selection. Click on Merge. Select Merge Graphics. This is the final effect. Box selection. Click on Merge. Select Graphic Intersection. This is the final effect. Box selection. Click on Merge. Select Exclude Top Layer. This is the final effect. Draw a random graphic. Click on Centering button enables to center the graphic in the working canvas. You can enter the size of the graphic directly in the Dimensions millimeter area. The position of the graphic can be changed in the position millimeter area. You can duplicate the layer here. Duplicate a layer and change its position. Make another copy of the layer and change its position. Finally, draw a big circle. Enter its diameter 60. Centering. Box selection. Rotate 30. Click on Gallery. Drag an engraving material to the canvas. Right-click to convert to vector. Box selection. Select filling. Click on Setup. Here you can choose the engraving method and engraving angle. The recommended value of line spacing is 0.03. Other setup parameters use default values. Confirm. Then take a look at this area. It shows the connection status of the machine. When this icon appears, the connection is successful. If the connection fails, the icon will look like this in the video. This is what a successful connection looks like. Next, we will introduce the object list. Add some materials first. There are 3 materials corresponding to these 3 in the object list. Click the eye symbol to close or open. This is used to lock. After locking, this layer cannot be moved and deleted. Then it is the introduction of the marking mode area. Here you can select the engraving mode you will perform. Flat engraving, roller engraving, claw engraving, and expanded engraving. If you cannot find them here, you can set this section in the device information. SGD provides some different presets of the materials engraving, but these presets require you to edit them manually. If you need to change the parameters settings, you can modify it from the Materials Parameters in the Advanced tab. Administrator password is required the first time you open it. You can modify its original parameters and settings here. For example, change the eco-friendly paper to 1 to 3 4 5 6. Change the power to 100%. Speed change to 200. Select blue light. Save. Synchronize parameter library. Reselect. Finally, you can see that the parameter settings here have changed. Light source. You can choose the light source you need. Blue light, red light. Select different light sources, and the engraving material will change to the corresponding color. This refers to the marking times. If you set the values to 2, it means it'll engrave 2 times continuously. This is power. How much power is needed can be dragged or manually entered here. This is speed. It can also be entered by dragging or manually. If the engraving material is an image, it is not speed parameters here, but dotting time. Dotting time. It means the time that the light dot on the surface of the material. The larger the value means the longer the light dot will stay, which refers to the slower the speed. Conversely, the smaller the value means the shorter the light dot will stay, which refers to the faster the speed. Here we go to the select processing. There are 3 materials and 3 layers. Suppose I just need to engrave this one. The other 2 are excluded. What I need to do is select this material and check Select Processing. Finally, click on Mark. Then the G9 machine will only engrave the material I've selected. Preview. There are 2 preview options. The first one is Frame Preview. This means that SGD will show the size and position of the pattern you need to engrave on the surface of the engraving material. If it's an image preview, note that the image preview is not the size of the pattern, but the size of the whole image. You need to crop the image or convert it to the vector file. The second one is outline preview. It refers to the size of the outermost outline shape of the graphic. This is the outline preview effect. Mark is the button to execute the processing. Finally, I'll demonstrate you the entire process of engraving. Filling. Scaling to 100. It cannot be engraved if it exceeds 110. Click to focus. The focusing step should be done before marking. The first step is focus. Focusing means making the red and blue dots coincide. Then there's the preview. Preview the position and size of the engraving. Then comes the selection of the light source. Settings for power and speed. Finally, click to mark. These are the detailed tutorials for the SGD software.